When Procreate 5.4 came out, it was one of the biggest updates we had had in a while. But since then, we've gotten another 10 updates, and now we're up to Procreate 5.4.11. Most of these updates have not been flashy. They're mostly bug fixes and quality of life improvements, but there are a few changes that have genuinely made Procreate a better experience for me. But there's still a few things I'm still really hoping that they fix. The first improvement is one that I'm very happy to see finally disappear. If you updated to 5.4 early on, you probably remember the brush duplication bug. But this was also a bug that was happening in the previous versions of Procreate as well, just one that I personally hadn't experienced yet until the 5.4 update. Someone happened to mention it in one of the comments of my videos, and I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But then lo and behold, I started experiencing this bug and I've realized how annoying it was. You can see the unintentional duplicated brushes right here. They're gonna have this naming convention. I have this silly habit of duplicating brushes, but then I ended up with duplicates that I never intended. When this happens, your brush library just slowly becomes cluttered. You have brushes you didn't even know were there. And for me, it got frustrating pretty quickly, but thankfully this bug has been fixed. It's not one of those big fancy feature changes. It's just a bug that people were experiencing that was really annoying, and it's a big enough update to bear mentioning. And it's an improvement that I really appreciate. Now I'm not going to get confused by these duplicates because honestly, I can't actually remember which one of these I meant to be there, so that's nice. But while we're talking about brushes, there is one thing that I really hope Procreate brings back. Before the 5.4 brush library redesign, you had two options in renaming brushes. You could tap on the brush name right inside the library and quickly change it. Or in the brush studio, you'd go into the About This Brush section and rename it there. When you make custom brushes, it was really easy just to name it while you were still in the brush studio. But unfortunately, you can no longer do that. You can only change the name in the brush library panel. The new brush library looks fantastic, and I genuinely like most of the redesign, but I would absolutely love to see the in-studio brush renaming return in a future update. Another small improvement that I found myself using more than I expected is the active layer eyedropper. Normally when you sample a color with the eyedropper, it'll grab colors from everything that's visible on your canvas. Now you can choose to sample only from your active layer. It sounds like a tiny change, but if you work with lots of layers and clip layers like I do, it's surprisingly useful. So when you're using the eyedropper, you just tap here and it will just choose a color from the active layer. This means I don't accidentally pick up colors from shadows, highlights, background elements, or something that I wasn't trying to sample. I use a lot of clipped layers and blending modes, and I can recall several times when I only mean to pick up the original color, not a blending mode color. It's another not so flashy update, but it adds a level of convenience that makes the whole digital art experience that much nicer. Another update that I have been using quite a bit is the ability to perform actions on multiple layers at once. Instead of duplicating, deleting, or moving layers one at a time, you can now select several layers and perform those actions together. Again, it's not revolutionary, but if you've ever cleaned up a complicated illustration with 50 or 100 layers, you'll appreciate how much faster this makes organizing your artwork. Little workflow improvements like this save a surprising amount of time over the course of a project. These updates are definitely about fixing those small frustrations that are kind of like the equivalent of having a rock in your shoe. It's really small, but can make a big impact on your comfort. And once you get that rock out, there's like such a relief. That's kind of what these updates are like. Just like a pebble in your shoe level of inconvenience, but they're a nice fix nonetheless. Fixing little frustration, removing extra taps, making the app stay out of your way so you can spend more time drawing. And I really appreciate that kind of update, but I'm definitely looking forward to Procreate 5.5 sometime in the future, where reusers will finally see the color fill with the gap detection that they've teased recently. They're also teasing this movable flipbook that looks really cool, and a lasso fill tool. I don't really know what that means, but they said it's coming. Let me know in the comments if you can tell me what that one is. So hopefully Procreate 5.5 isn't that far away, but until then, go ahead and learn how these professional artists use Procreate in their professional art businesses. You're gonna get a lot of inspiration on how to use Procreate today or any other art program that you like using.